All right, you know who my next guest is. GM3, Gerald Meerschaert, who picked up another big win, this time over Dustin Stoltzfus in the third round via RNC. Gerald, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How you doing?
I'm good, and I appreciate the time as always. Congrats on the win, although it didn't come without a little bit of adversity. What, I guess, would you have done differently looking back at it now?
I was just talking to some of my coaches about this, and I think the biggest thing was I didn't take enough of a break in between the Muradov fight and this fight. So I had a obviously big break between Hamzat and Fabinski, and then I took a break after the Fabinski fight leading into Muradov. And I think I just didn't take enough time off to kind of like let my body recover. And we train a lot harder than most places. You know what I mean? I've been around. I've been to a lot of different gyms, and it's just a lot of like a lot of good old fashioned hard training and grinding at Rufus Sport. And I'm getting to the point in my career and my age where definitely not old, and I definitely got my best years ahead of me. But I got to approach training a little bit differently. You know what I mean? I can't. My whole thing has always been, I can go to deep waters like I showed and outwork people. But what the optimal training looks like for me is going to be a little bit different moving forward. It's going to be, as far as volume and all that stuff and like duration. So I think once I get that dialed in, you'll see me looking a lot fresher in that cage.
Did you feel just maybe like your cardio wasn't there in this fight, or did your body just feel kind of maybe a little bit more worn down than it normally would be come fight night?
Yeah, it was just worn down. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is, clearly my cardio is like fine because even when I felt that way, I could still suck it up and gut it out in the third round. But obviously, I'd like to look good the whole time and not have to do that. I have the tendency to kind of put myself in tough situations, but if it's just a learning thing, and I've never been this old before, or I've never been fighting this long before in my life, so it's kind of a new experience, and it's just something that once you get there, you got to figure it out. And luckily, I can make that adjustment off a lesson learned from a win and not a loss.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. How did you and your team feel like the judges scored round one and two? Did you feel like maybe you got one of those rounds, or did you feel you could have been down maybe 2-0 going into round three?
I thought I was down 2-0. I did good at the beginning of the first round. And even then, it's one of those things when I knew you always walk out a little bit with some nerves and stuff to the octagon, right? Your arms feel heavy or your legs feel heavy, or, it just feels a little bit different. And then once you make contact, that first punch, that first exchange, the tie up, whatever, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm fighting, I'm in competition, and all goes out the window, and you're just reacting and flowing and everything's all good. You know what I mean? Um, that didn't happen. As soon as I made contact, I was like, oh, I still feel dead tired right now. Like I just, no energy, muscles felt zapped. And, I was like, all right, this is going to be a long night. I'm going to have to figure this out. So, that's when I knew I had, beginning of the first round, I had really good control on the ground. I hit him, opened up, hit him with a couple punches, got an early takedown, had good control on top. Credit to him when he scrambled up, he kept my leg in a position that didn't allow me to take his back. And just being on the ground there, I knew I was tired because I just kind of had to hold on. Normally, I would have been posturing up, I would have been framing, landing a lot of punches, trying for a lot more elbows and ground and pound. But like I said, I just wasn't feeling it that night, so I just kind of had to try to secure my position. And after he got out of that, I was just like, man, this is going to take a little bit. So, and then when it came down to the third, even my corner told me, they're like, hey, look, we're down two. You got to go get a finish. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, and you're gonna have to suck it up and get in there and do your thing.
Well, that's exactly what you did, and you got the RNC in the third. Run me through how that presented itself.
I knew I had to do something big. And I know that if I'm on the ground, if I can get to somebody's back, I got a really good chance of choking anybody in the division, really anybody in the world. And I had Duke Rufus and my training partner JP St. Louis and Rafael Lovato in the corner. They were all great. They knew what was going on. They knew what was going through my head. Duke was like, "Hey, look, we're down two. Get the finish." Lovato was just, kind of reinstating. He's like, either get mount or get to his back and, get a choke and finish this guy. Like, you're better than him on the ground. Get it to where that you can finalize this fight. And that's, me coaching the fight team a lot at Rufus Sport for the grappling, one thing I always press to my guys, well, two big things really is one, if you're already down and it's the third round, no reason to hold anything back. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose. You might as well go out on your shield. So try to do everything in your power to get a finish. And if I'm going to, talk it, I better walk it myself for one. And two, it's very important to have the ability to finish a fight. Doesn't matter whether you're, a stand-up guy and you can set up a knockout, or you're a submission guy, whatever the case is, having the ability to decisively finish a fight, will do tremendous things for your career. And I knew that that was my realm to do it. So that's the position I had to put myself in to come out on top.
And you won this on your birthday. Was that so? First of all, let me just say happy belated birthday. I'm going to get that right up there first and foremost. Did that give you more pressure though? I mean, are you people like messaging you, being like, "Hey, happy birthday"? Does that distract you at all? Doing this on your birthday?
No, everyone was really good about it actually. I've been fighting for longer than I've been doing anything else. So everybody pretty much knows the routine. I just kind of keep to myself fight week, and if you're there with me, cool. If you're not, I got nothing against anybody messaging me, but it might be a very short reply if I reply at all. And everybody was really good about that. They all wished me luck and everything, and said happy birthday there right before and after. But honestly, I got no more big birthdays coming up, man. Like I'm past 30. Everything from here is just downhill. So I'm not really like hyped up about birthdays or anything. So for me, I was just happy that I got that fight that day.
All right. Did you celebrate with maybe a birthday beer or cake? Like, what? How did you guys celebrate it afterwards? How'd you do the win?
I had a couple beers afterwards, and we ordered some Mexican food from a place in Vegas. So it was, wasn't bad. Also shout out to Nabi and the UFC crew. She got me a cupcake after the post-fight press conference. So that was really awesome.
Very impressive victory there, pulling it out in the third round. Showed a lot of heart getting that win. And geez, this is 3 fights, 3 submission victories in 2021. Obviously, after that loss to Kamzat, how's your confidence at right now? I got to imagine it's got to be pretty darn high.
It's not a bad feeling. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed with my performance, but everybody keeps reminding me, like, hey, man, if you can win when you don't feel good, like, that's more the mark of a true professional. And I feel great that it's my first 3-fight win streak in the UFC. I extended my submission lead in the middleweight division. I'm closing the gap on all-time submissions in the UFC in general. I think I'm tied for like 4th or 5th now with Frank Mir, which is, a crazy sentence to say out loud. And it's like, that's a really cool thing. So I'm trying to look at the positive stuff while keeping in mind, like, like I said, there's stuff I got to work on. I got to change my training around a little bit. I got to, maybe back off in certain areas and like push a little bit harder in other areas, to kind of shore things up. And, I'm happy. Family's healthy. I got a victory. 2021 was great for me. And I just want to build off that success.
Absolutely. And I heard the commentary team say that you've been studying, I'm not sure if it was fighters or just athletes in general, just to try and, make yourself a better, more well-rounded athlete. Can you tell me a little bit more about what it is that you're doing, what they're talking about?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but I always study different athletes and like all different sports, but any place I can draw knowledge and information from, right? Like if you want to generate power, you look at really good sprinters. If you want to have like really long lasting cardio, you can take some things from like marathon runners and triathletes. And I like listen to a lot of different stuff and just checking different things out because you can take a little bit of piece of everything. Obviously, not everything is going to directly translate to MMA, right? We got some guys that, love to do like CrossFit for their strength and conditioning, and they think that's end all. And then we've got, like the Diaz brothers, they do the triathlons because they're cardio machines. I'm just trying to pick and choose the best stuff that I can and, make myself the best fighter that I could possibly be.
All right. And I wanted to congratulate you too on the personal success that you guys had, added a baby to the family. How is that dynamic like now with, family life and those new responsibilities and staying in the gym?
It hasn't hurt at all. You know what I mean? And it's nice for me that, my schedule is not the same as everybody else. Like obviously it's not a block all at one time. But I've been loving it, man. Being a dad's the greatest thing ever. And, If you're in a position to do it and you're kind of on the fence about it, I would say just do it. You won't regret it.
Well, what are the holidays going to be like for you? Are you going to take a little time off and maybe eat some good food, or are you going to stay as active as possible in the gym and maybe take a short notice fight around the corner?
I want to take a break, and I said that in like all my interviews. I got a grappling school I want to open up in February, and like I said, I think that there's no such thing as overtraining, but there's definitely such thing as under recovery, and I was under recovered going into that fight clearly, which is why I looked like I was in a schoolyard fight for a little bit there. But so take some time off, let my body heal up and recover. Get back into training. We got local fights January 15th. We got some good. Christian Rodriguez, who was on Contenders, is going to be the head of that card. So we got guys getting ready for that. Be there for them, for anybody else that has a fight coming up, and then kind of slowly work my way back in. And I was hoping to get a fight. If I could pick the time frame, I'd say like late April, early May. But I'm always in the gym, so we'll see what happens. No matter what happens, I'll be ready. But I'd like to take a little bit of not a huge break, but a longer break than I normally take.
Do you think we could expect to see you crack the top 15 in 2022?
Man, honestly, I don't know. MMA is a crazy sport. The rankings don't mean nothing, but like people, they have to drop out of fights. This and that happens. Guys have like last minute replacements. It's hard to know what's going to happen with that. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. I'm just here to fight people. I don't really care if there's a number next to their name or not. Give me, everybody in the UFC is tough. Give me somebody to fight, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. And I have to ask you, have you talked to T Wood since his last fight with Jake Paul?
I have not, but I'm sure he's doing fine. He's been doing it for a long time too. He's a great MMA champion, and I wish him nothing but the best. And Christmas is right around the corner. I imagine with his bank account, he's just fine.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I want to get a couple fight picks for you before I let you go, Gerald. Two big fights I'm looking forward to is Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker 2, and then Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane, the heavyweight championship. Who do you see winning both of those fights?
Man, so in my weight class, Adesanya and Whittaker, they really only had the few exchanges, and I thought Whittaker did really good kind of getting in Adesanya's face. But Adesanya is just like really well. First of all, he's really, really long. Second of all, he's a very, very good judge of distance. So those two things combined make it really tough to fight him. Because he's a striker. You're already the taller guy, and you have good footwork, and he pulls a lot, but he does it the correct way and like takes angles. I'm interested to see how that fight plays out as it progresses. I would still, if I had to put money on it, I would probably still bet on the champ Adesanya. But man, if anyone's got a shot, Bobby Knuckles can touch people and they go to sleep. So I mean, you could do everything right, and he could just happen to catch you, and you could be out. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, it's a fist fight. At some point, you're going to get hit. You never know, and I know this better than anybody, when that one punch can be the last punch. So he's definitely got a chance. But if I had to like bet money, I would say Adesanya, and Gane and Ngannou is another one. Cyril Gane would, when you watch him and on paper, seem to be the slicker fighter, but they're both predominantly strikers, and Cyril Gane pulls a lot, and he doesn't quite have the footwork that Adesanya has when he pulls. Adesanya, like when I say pull, they lean back a lot, right? Cyril Gane, he will take angles, but he kind of, he gets away because he's so much taller than people, kind of leaning away. And Ngannou has looked more measured and calculated. On top of that, he does go forward when he strikes. So that's kind of like the old boxing saying, right? You can't like run away from the train. Eventually, it's going to catch up and run you over. One of the few people that kind of goes against that is Muhammad Ali. But again, he had very good lateral movement while he pulled. So I would, again, if I had to bet money, I would say Ngannou, just because Cyril Gane tends to like lean and move straight back, or like not move his feet that much, whereas Ngannou is just going to like charge and come in and he's just got lights out power. And I know they've trained together. They probably got a little bit of each other's tricks down, and like they're going to be looking for some stuff, and like, you know, they're familiar with each other. But man, Ngannou's just got stupid raw power, and again, he touches you once and you're not ready for it, or I mean, shit, even if you are ready for it, that could be it.
Yeah, those are two fights that I cannot wait to come to fruition. Both are going to be absolute bangers. Well, listen, Gerald, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, my man. I really appreciate the time. Again, at GM3, Gerald Meerschaert picks up a round 3 RNC over Dustin Stoltzfus this past Saturday at the UFC Apex. Before I let you go, tell people where to follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, my teammates, family, friends. You can try and Google my name. Probably won't work because it's really complicated to spell, but I'm on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Still not on TikTok. Never going to be on TikTok. Don't ever ask me about TikTok.